I'm going to show you some new video. Check it out. It is showing a roof being blown off of a factory. This is in Tennessee. This happened yesterday and, of course, caused by severe winds there. And it's just one example of how dangerous these storms that are rolling through parts of the southern U.S. Really are. And they've been rolling through for days. For some people, more dangerous conditions are expected today. CBS News correspondent Nicole Valdes joins us from Madison, Alabama, to give us a sense of the aftermath from these storms. Great to see you this morning. How do things look, and do folks have their power back yet?
Hey, Errol. In fact, some here in Madison are still waiting to get the lights back on. But you'll notice here, winds were clearly powerful enough to not only rip the garage door off of this home, but you'll notice all of the bricks that are sitting on the lawn here. These all came flying off the side of this home, and all that's left there is a little bit of wood and some siding. That is really what happened after that rare and terrifying tornado emergency alert was issued yesterday evening. That is the highest alert possible, warning you for a tornado, and it puts anyone in that path really in imminent danger. The National Weather Service says they believe a tornado moved through parts of Huntsville a little after 6 last night. In fact, the family that lives in this home told me that they were taking shelter underneath their stairwell when they realized that things got eerily quiet. And thank goodness they took that seriously, because clearly a lot of damage here to clean up. The house, thankfully, still standing, but a lot of people throughout this region are, frankly, a little tired of the amount of severe weather we've seen in just the last few days alone.
Yeah, Nicole, I understand there's been some, 3,500 tornado reports over the past few days in the country, and in some places, tornado warnings didn't work. What do we know about just the warnings and the tornado reports in your part of the country? How pervasive were they?
Yeah, damaging and in many cases deadly tornadoes throughout the last few days. Of course, we're talking about the ones impacting those who live in places like St. Louis and London, Kentucky. We've traveled throughout several states over the last few days, visiting those areas, talking to victims who have, in some cases, lost their homes and are now grieving their loved ones. That death toll just continued to climb. In Kentucky alone, I believe 19 people, at least 19 people, lost their lives there. So there is a lot of pain, of course, for so many still grieving and getting through these storms.
Yeah, and we're seeing some of the aerial footage as well as just how destructive these storms can be. Nicole Valdes, thank you so much. Appreciate the update. All right, let's go ahead and bring in CBS News Philadelphia meteorologist Grant Gilmore now, the look at your national forecast. This is so serious for so many people, Grant.
It's been a really busy week, a deadly week at that, Errol, where you go back to last Wednesday. We have had over 3,500 reports of tornadoes, hail, and those damaging winds, some of the strongest of which were producing EF4 tornadoes of 170 miles per hour. That was in Illinois. We had grapefruit-sized hail reported there in Texas. Actually, a couple places, even in Illinois, saw some hail 4 inches in diameter. 91-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and then we had a one-day rainfall total of 6.9 inches in Virginia. The severe weather threat has diminished, but we still have that threat for some tornadoes and some damaging winds through eastern North Carolina today, back into the Ozarks. But we're not talking about those elevated risks of long track tornadoes and very large hail. Still, though, some rainfall moving through the mid-Atlantic up into the Northeast today. The Great Lakes still dealing with rain as well. And then underneath all that rain, you've got unseasonably cool conditions. Got showers extending all the way into the northern tier states, relatively dry from the southern plains into the Pacific Northwest. And we've got some big heat heading into Southern California, into the desert Southwest. Errol, we'll talk more about that here in just a little bit. But heat advisories in effect right now. We'll show you where in just a few minutes. Back over to you for now.